Hey folks, welcome to the Witchual Workout. I'm Laura Tempest Zakroff. So it's Friday and I wanted to wrap up this week. We started with the body mechanics and magic of our shoulders, and I want to touch base about our shoulders and also go into our neck and do this all from a seated position without music and such, because there are some things that can get lost and that you're often focusing about so many different things at once, particularly if you're working with the whole body. So let's just focus on this area. And I want to give you a few pointers on continuing to work with the shoulders and how important it is to work with our necks, right? So one of the key points I was trying to get across to you all this week is your shoulders, while they are an important route for movement, right? Our arms, it's that point where our torso and our arms meet. And if we're going to move our hands, we really want to be activated from this core point moving out from our shoulders. And that it's important to understand that our shoulders can move in many different ways. So we have forward, right? We're just going to move one forward. We can move it back. And that when we move our shoulder forward, you can see that the other one goes back, right? Forward, goes back, forward, goes back, right? So we have this swivel pivot that happens here. We also have up, and we also have pushing down, right? You can also kind of work into the diagonals, which is all the points we hit when we do the whole circle, those shoulder rolls. And the reason that I incorporate them into our almost every single warm-up is because it is this core place, this central place of communication through our body. So if you want to build up strength, if you want to have more articulated shoulders and to get that power and essence that starts right there, you really do want to think about moving them separately first, right? Instead of just being like, oh, they do this kind of thing, right? This is me kind of throwing my shoulders around and swiveling on my spine instead of activating the muscle groups. So pull this back here. Here we go. We have biceps, we have the triceps, we have the pectoral muscles, we have the trapezius across the back. So when I want to push my shoulder forward, I want to think about using these muscle groups. And if you're like, oh, I'm not sure if I can think about those muscles, right? Then imagine that there is a pane of glass in front of you, or a door, or a wall, or something that you want. You can't pet with your hands, but you can pet with your shoulders, whatever that is. Push it forward. Push, push, push. And I actually got a nice pop going on in my my shoulder blade back there. Like that feels good. Let's try it on the other side. Here we go. And push, 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 push. Right. So when we put those together, you're thinking push, 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 push. So we're not only taking advantage of that swivel action that can happen, but we're really moving it. We're giving it momentum. We're giving it personality and essence, and so that we can do it fast. Right. So when I'm doing this, I'm doing what is a shoulder shimmy, not a chest shimmy. Right. I'm not thinking about, oh, I gotta move my chest. Right. I am thinking about my shoulders, and I'm moving my shoulders. So I'm starting here, and then I can make it fast and tiny. And that comes with the control, learning to control these muscle groups that help us move and guide our shoulders. So just starting where you're going 1, 2, 3, 4 on the other side. 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, 1 and 2. 1 and 2. 1 and 2. 1 and 2. And now 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, and shake. So it's a good way to build it up. And you do want your arms to be out. And of course, I've got the camera a little bit closer for this, but having your arms out makes it so much easier to access these muscle groups versus trying to do this. Right? There's not a lot of activity happening here when you have your arms out. And yes, your arms are going to get tired, right? Because they're not used to hanging out like this all day, unless you pretend to be an airplane all day. So this is going to help build up muscle strength in here, as well as more articulation and strength through there, as well as your chest. So it really does a lot of good things for the pectoral tissue as well. So it's a lot of good stuff without, having to lift weights. This is what I like to call all the different kinds of dances I do that are more low impact, right? I don't have to lift weights to get that. You can totally do that. But in learning to simply move my body without having to use weights to do it, just using that pressure and the mindfulness does a lot. So, other one is up. And oh, it kind of feels good to go up and relax. Up and relax. Or push, push. I don't use the push down too much, right? But that up, oh, you kind of feel that crunch, right? And there isn't too much that I do with this movement, right? Except for starting a snake arm, right? To learn to move it up but without going into my ear. So I'm lifting my shoulder up and out, up and out, up and out, up and out. Flow, flow, and flow. So we've got that. And, it feels a lot better to release, especially if you are someone who holds a lot of tension up here. Moving these things around, you can even do, this is really fun, is just this little drop, 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 right, on the diagonal. Oh gosh, yeah, I can really feel that back in the shoulder blades in a good way, like that little crunch and bubbles happening in there. So doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and let it go. Right? Don't overdo it, just enough, and a little bit each day can make a tremendous impact. Even if you have a couple times a week that you're doing it, it really does help your body. And the last part is this all connects into our neck, right? We have our spine, we're working around the spine, that's where we're pivoting, right? So it's also good to allow the head to go forward. This is actually using weights in a certain way, right? Because your head weighs a fair amount of poundage. And back. And forward. Just take your time. You should really feel that resistance. And back to center. And look to one side. Feel it stretch through here. And then to the other side. And let that stretch. One more. And I tend not to do these very fast. You really want to take your time. There are a lot of nerves and things that are growing up through here. And so if you are going to do trance work, if you're going to allow your head to roll and do those sorts of things, you really want to warm up in here because you can cause serious damage. Sometimes it's just temporary. I have lost hearing temporarily in one ear or the other from doing a lot of excessive head whipping and lashing, particularly with some of the trance dances when I was much younger. And now I'm going, not a great idea. Make sure I'm warmed up properly because sometimes you do that damage and it doesn't come back. So be gentle with the neck, all of those nerve endings and things that are moving and all these little tiny muscles and tendons that happen in there. So from that point, you can do a circle. Again, take your time and just let the weight of your skull give that resistance and reverse. And back to center. And if you want to align this with a magical meaning, right, thinking about which way you roll your head, it could be a banishing or a blessing direction, right? Are you going clockwise or counterclockwise? And so if you're trying to release something, then perhaps you are going to go counterclockwise moving through versus trying to increase and think about some sort of thing that you're adding up, you're going to go clockwise, right? You might also have different concepts aligned with which way you're looking, northwest, east, and south, earth, air, fire, water, depends on your tradition. And it can even be the leaning back where you take the whole torso and look to the past and look to the past and kind of let these, you can see my arm goes with it and back, right? So allowing that whole gesture to come through. Just a nice way to get your brain a little more active, a little more participatory in the process rather than, yeah, I'm just rolling my head around, whatever. You know, you especially when we're just thinking about what it looks like versus how it's feeling. So if you have this sense of like, okay, as I am rolling my head in a clockwise direction, I am gathering my energy and my thoughts, and I'm going to do it in 3 cycles for, you know, the 3 cauldrons or 3 aspects of the self, whatever that is. That is another layer of meaning that can be really powerful for what you're doing. So I hope you found this useful, getting down into that little nitty gritty. Now go back and revisit the other videos from this week. Visit the mechanics from Monday and some of the other fun shoulder exercises. Once you've done that, and see, can you get a little bit more out of it? So hope you all have a great weekend. Be sure to subscribe. I'll see you next week.